item 3.2. I think that guy have too many excellent machine gun or semi-automatic rifle. So we need to support, to protect our police by give them chance, military equipment, and robot searching, and also armor vehicle. That's what I should get on item 2.2. Actually, I have an item to want to say today, but I forget. So actually, I have one item is wrong. So I need to send email all of you tomorrow. The item I want to say, number one is the 3 request person to submit any topic is non-reasonable, because they already have a 3 agree to submit. So you need to discuss what you need. They always have a 3 good, so I don't think you need it. Okay. The last item is I want to talk to the Mayor Jim Nguyen abused his position to control and corrupt capital city. I have all evidence, so I can't challenge you tomorrow. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Our next speaker is Roger Bindrum, followed by our final speaker, Terry Reed.
Good evening, Roger Bindrum, President of Westminster. What I have to say is, it covers everything on the agenda, really. The primary purpose of the First Amendment was to ensure that citizens have the right to address their government and criticize it without fear of reprisal, by guaranteeing freedoms like freedom of speech, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. It was designed to allow citizens to express their opinions, including criticism of the government, without fear of legal repercussions. And the ability to criticize the government is considered essential for a healthy democracy, as it allows for public accountability and the ability to influence policy. At the last meeting, at about 1:59 a.m., a lot of people are concerned about the safety of certain council members, and just thought, I'd like to give her an opportunity to elaborate, to tell us that she's okay after her attack. She was attacked last weekend. Nobody asked her about it. Elaborate for me, please.
Our final speaker, Terry Reeds.
A lighter agenda on the somber 23rd anniversary of 9/11 is proper after we endured Amy and Amquan's important behavior until 5:20 a.m. at the last meeting, even with the new speaking limits and decorum order in place. Amy, why did you pull item 2 on the closed session agenda? Item 3.5, thank you, Christine, for quickly finding an interim community development director. I'm sure it's all full relieved. Assuming council approval, welcome Director Vanderdussen to Westminster. We hope you can get the planning and building on track soon, as well as code enforcement. Item 5.1, we need a Be Well update now, since the county just announced plans to pull funding later this month after an audit found systemic failures, not hiring qualified contractors, trading staff inadequately, not answering crisis calls, and shady billing practices. This on the heels of county lawyers filing a lawsuit against another nonprofit alleging they embezzled $10 million meant to be seniors but used the money to buy homes instead. Last year, Be Well was forced to shut down its drug treatment program at the Orange campus because the contractor was not properly overseeing the program. Be Well's new leadership has a lot to explain. The county is removing Be Well from the Orange campus, but is still working with them on the new Irvine campus. Newport Beach canceled their Be Well contract last week. Anaheim is considering their options. Irvine plans to establish their own mental health crisis program to replace Be Well. That leaves Garden Grove, Hampton Beach, Laguna Beach, and Westminster. The contract was meant to greatly help our police department and those in crisis. Initially, it looked promising, but how about now? We put almost $2 million of federal ARPA funds into this contract, so we're getting our full bang for our buck. Let's not be under never does, contracting with nonprofits who fail to produce or won't abide by the rules and laws tied to federal funding and nonprofit status. Item 5.2, on Sunday, I emailed staff asking why the April 2024 strategic plan workshop metrics were not on the strategic plan page of the city's website. Staff needs to keep the strategic plan in the forefront of all city business and this council. Please approve the resolution to direct staff to implement the recommendations from the feasibility study. Question, does the general plan have to be amended to accomplish this, or just the zoning code? Item 5.3, the Supreme Court overturned the grants pass ruling, but why does the staff report imply possible future concerns with enforcement of our anti-camping ordinance? What concerns? Item 7.1, finally, the city needs a formal notification system that residents can sign up for to receive email alerts about all board meetings and agendas, including this oversight committee, to foster transparency and public participation. Item 10, Amy's AB 123 reports her excitedly telling us how mosquitoes have sex and that she attended a mandatory sex training class. She must be removed from all boards for cause. Show OCMBCD and former AG, now presidential candidate, our council meeting videos, and they will surely agree. This council, as the appointing authority, must remove her, regardless of the 2011 AG opinion. Go big and go home, Amy. District 1, recall Amy Van West. Recall Amy Van West. Recall Amy Van West. Recall Amy Van West.
No.
Recall Amy Van West.
This guy over here.
Mayor, we have no further speakers. Mayor, we have no further speakers.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. All right, this is for agenda item only, yeah.
Are you looking to speak for items on the agenda?
Is it, if you want to speak on an item on the agenda right now, and then later in the meeting for items not on the agenda?
If you speak on the agenda item, then we can do it now, or if not, then we have to wait to take it, and when non-agenda item, then we can.
Mr. Mayor, I think you said why she's speaking recall, that's not part of the agenda item, so he wants to say something to.
All right, next is.
Mayor, sorry, while we were in the discussion, I did receive another speaker card for this oral communications period. I have Min Vu.
Huh?
I just want to
Well, let
mention.
our translator.
I want to mention again that it is for agenda item only. Okay, so if you are talking anything else without mentioning the agenda item, then please wait to the end.
Hello, tôi là Minh Vũ, tôi là cư dân Westminster.
I am Minh Vu and the resident of Westminster City.
Tôi lúc nào cũng là muốn tất cả 5 người ở đây ấy, là sao tôi vào. Thì tôi luôn luôn là mong tất cả 5 người đoàn kết rồi
Thưa
với
chị,
nhau.
là cái này chỉ là cái item trong agenda item mà thôi. Nếu mà ngoài cái agenda item, nếu mà cái gì chị không nói gì nó liên quan tới cái agenda đó, chị chờ cho tới cái phần mà nó là agenda item.
Thầy cô.
Dạ, cảm ơn.
Ok, em sang thị trưởng cứ tôi nói đúng rồi không? Tôi muốn nói sơ nhưng mà thôi để làm.
Để lúc sau đi nhé. Dạ, cảm ơn.
She will wait for her
He just wants to.
non-agenda items.
With that, Mayor, we don't have any more speakers for agenda items.
All right.
I still can sign up to speak, right?
If you'd like to speak on agenda items. Kai, you can just go ahead. You don't need the card.
At this time, we lost.
Mayor.
I'm sorry, but we lost the quorum. So. supposedly that when they leave the diocese, you should look at it. But we lost the quorum right now, so we have to wait until we have the quorum.
Expulsion. That's the answer.
Just to be
New
clear, we're on
attorney,
break right now because
because
there is no
doesn't
quorum.
understand
So
that
we
we
need
need to
to
miss
stay on a temporary break. So,
So I think that,
no, please wait. Please wait.
Actually, we have to
Okay.
Oh, we have a quorum now.
Yeah. Go ahead and have roll call again, please.
Thank you, Mayor. For roll call after the break was Mayor Nguyen,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Hill,
Here.
Councilwoman Fan West, Councilmember Monzo,
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen. Mayor, you have a quorum with Councilwoman Fan West and Councilmember Nguyen absent.
My apology for not being able to control which council is leaving the diocese. So that's no. At this time here, we started a council meeting, so you go ahead and continue with your public comment. Okay, you can do it.
yes, sorry about that. I heard someone was addressing the agenda. I listened to him and I want to follow up with what he has to say. But for right now, I don't know what's going on. I could not locate the issue that he was speaking about. So I heard the person before me speaking about the right to speak and then the having to do with our communication, something like that. Is that on the agenda?
No, that's not anything.
Because if it's not agenda, but I'm sure he spoke about it. I want to follow up with what he has to say regarding, what we has been chaotic and so I can't look at it right now.
If I may, that subject matter is on the agenda because we have an oral communications both at the beginning and at the end.
Right.
And also the issue of how council members add items to the agenda, that's also on the agenda.
Yes, sir, that's what I'm.
If that's the case, why don't you reset the 2 minutes for him?
Thank you very much, appreciate that. So, yeah, I hope that, if you guys, just like the lady said, can sit down and work together, united or not, agree with one another or not, but hopefully with the guidance of the city attorney, can come up with some kind of policy and hopefully a way so that, you guys can conduct the city's business more efficiently, more efficiently, and more professionally. And with all the rules that someone, I think, raised their objection regarding we have 3 council members agree in order, support it in order to, agendize it, to put it on the item on the agenda for the next meeting. I think that's uncalled for. I'm sorry, Mr. Councilmember Orlando. I understand your argument is that because you only support it because of the current situation, because some council members abusing their power and bring up items that it's not worthy of the council to discuss according to you or according to the 3 of you. But I don't think we should resolve the problem. You know, in a democratic society, you know, in an all-American city, there's way to deal with that. You know, I'm in a position to teach you guys how to do your job, but I'm sure in all the cities, you know, even if they have some rogue council members, they're trying to, you know, create a scene in the council. But if you know how to design, how to conduct, how to manage the meetings, you still would be able to move on. And if you treat, you know, if you stick to the rule, respect the law, and being non-partisan, non-biased, if you have respect, you would have the approval, the guidance of the city attorney to ask whoever is creating a scene to stop. And I'm sure at the vote request, you would be able to ask the officers here to escort whoever is disrupting the meeting to leave the council chamber. And that's the way that you should do it. Not coming up with rules and law to shut the opposition. Thank you very much.
Before I call the next speaker, I would like to ask the city attorney, can you justify what the speaker just was speaking about is the agenda item? Because I want to learn so that I can do it right. I know that you said that this is on the agenda, and I don't know whether it's on the agenda or not. To me, right now, I consider that this that was not on the agenda.
You want me to respond to the comment? Yes, and it is on the agenda, so that was an appropriate.
I just want to know how you come up.
I'll give a brief response. I think what the public needs to understand is that there's two rules that apply, one to the public, because this is what's called in the First Amendment a limited public forum. It's not a public, or a traditional public forum like a park where nobody can, you can say whatever you want. You can't restrict that. This is a limited public forum, meaning you have a right to come in here and speak, but it's limited to reasonable rules that the council can adopt. And so in this case, the council has 3 minutes that you can come up here and speak, exercise your First Amendment right, and then you sit down, and you shouldn't be disrupting. Let the other people go forward and exercise their speech. The council is a little bit different because they're elected officials, so they have the right of the public to go. And in fact, sometimes when they have a conflict, a councilman will declare the conflict and say, you know what, I want to go down. That's right next door to my house, and I'm going to exercise my 3 minutes and express their concern about whatever the issue is. So they still have that same right of a citizen. But the right that a council member has is one of having been elected to represent a particular area of the city, a district, or at the mayor at large. And that is an election by the people to speak on behalf of the people of that particular area of the district. And so the right to remain within a council meeting, which is the designated forum within which they're elected to speak, is a much higher right. You can't just treat them the same as you would the public. And what the state law is very clear on is it says that when a member of the public is disrupting the meeting, it has to be an actual disruption, and they have to be warned. And then if they continue to disrupt the meeting, then the mayor can remove you. That same rule does not as easily apply to a council member. Believe me, I've looked into this issue, and multiple attorneys, very experienced attorneys, have all said this is not something that should be approached very lightly. So I think what we've been seeking to do is establish a very clear record. Because if actual disruption of the meeting is occurring and it's continuing to occur and it's continuing to occur, you want to establish an extremely strong record before you would ever, that there is an actual disruption by a council member before you would ever take that step. Would be what, that has been the advice given thus far. We don't easily remove a council member from a meeting. The better approach is to try and do some of the things that have been done in order to focus the discussion, and hopefully everybody will be able to work together and not, not personal attacks on each other. We should have a responsible meeting where we respect one another's right to speak, even if we disagree.
All right, thank you for clarification, but I'd like to follow up. I think there's a misunderstanding there too. I'd like to know, based on what he's talking about, and you said that he can address us because what he's addressing is an agenda item. I don't think it's agenda item. I think it's non-agenda item. But you said it's what he said is you said the right. You said because basically you said it is an agenda item. How?
Well.
Should I say decipher for this?
Yeah.
So he's asking, because you indicated that he had the right to talk about oral communication. You had indicated that oral communications is an item that is agendized on the agenda. It is item number 2 of the agenda. So it is related to oral communications, item number 2. Oral communications is listed as item number 2 on the agenda.
Yeah, and I think when he was speaking, he was asking about whether or not his comments were about being able to speak and council members being able to put items on the agenda. And I answered your question that you were asking.
So I have a question, City Attorney. So earlier, the lady and Ron wanted to come and speak because the item number 2, which is oral communication, and they're just trying to talk about the item. And then I guess Mr. Mayor said, oh, if it's not related to the agenda item, which is the 5-point-something or whatever that they're thinking of, then they can't speak now. But they just want to speak on oral communication. And they should have the right, instead of Mr. Mayor coming in and stopping them, because they're my supporter.
No.
Let me just say that this whole issue of the general rule is that you're allowed to speak on items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. That's within the Brown Act, and that is what you seek to abide by. The problem here is that it's very easy for someone to stand up here and start talking and tie it to any agenda item, what they're saying. So we don't want to be in the business of parsing every little thing that people say. If something is very clearly not related to something on the agenda, then we just let them know, and we ask them to come back and talk during the non-agenda portion. If, as happened with many of the speakers here, they're talking about different agenda items and then they happen to throw something in at the end, we just don't want to be parsing everything that somebody says. We've got to just let people speak as a general rule, is what I would say. Unless what they're doing is obviously nothing to do with the agenda, then we just respectfully ask them to please speak during the non-agenda portion.
Yeah, City Attorney, I understood the mayor's question, but what you were explaining for 5 minutes, I don't think you were answering his question. His question was that the topic that the speaker, how does that qualify as the subject of oral communication? And he went on to speak about item agenda placement. That's not oral communication. He was asking, how does that qualify?
You're correct. That particular.
How does it qualify? How does that subject qualify?
You know what?
I'm not speaking.
You don't have the 5 minutes. Okay? You don't have the 5 minutes. Okay, let's start it out. If you want to stick.
I asked the mayor for permission.
No. We all equally.
Because let him finish.
No. If you
You are
want to
not
talk for 5
recognized.
minutes.
You're interrupting me.
This time. I will go to you, but let's
Just like you.
Let
you
him
have prosecuted the guy.
Please.
I'm asking for clarification. I don't know.
No. You guys as prosecuting me.
Councilmember Nguyen, I ask you nicely, let him finish and I will turn to you. Would you please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just asking for a clarification because he was trying to ask, and I wanted to know as well, how does that subject matter, what he was speaking about, qualify as oral communication subject matter? Are you getting where I'm going with this question?
Yes, and that particular issue is not on the agenda.
That's
He started on one thing, then he switched to another. It was for me to interrupt that, because the mayor was running the meeting, and then he asked me a question about it.
All right, thank you. At this time, I would like to close the oral communication for agenda items only, and based on the discussion after closed session, I would like to pull item 5.3. Our agenda is item today, so there's no discussion on that. So I will make a motion for that. Second.
So the motion is to completely remove it from the agenda, is that
That's
correct?
Why? I mean, can we discuss it?
Okay, you can go ahead and
I mean, there's a
Talk about
purpose
it.
why, you know, we need to know the legal law of how we, this council and this city can apply the legal law so that we don't get in trouble or overstep when it comes to homelessness. And it's also important for the council to know and also for law enforcement. So I think it's very important for the public to know what our legal rights as well, that they can hold us accountable to. So, Mr. Mayor, I think it's crucial for us to know.
Yeah, what is the reason for you to?
okay, I will answer. If you were to attend the closed session, then you understand why that we have to put this item. But we can't disclose what we discuss in the closed session. At this time, I will refer it to city attorney to answer these questions.
Are we able to talk about this, item 5.0?
Yes, just briefly, the
legal aspect of
the
it.
city council met in closed session to discuss this subject. It is disclosable because the council on majority vote agreed to disclose just what the subject matter was, which was to discuss this issue of the city's response in light of the Grants Spence case. And so there was a discussion, and that's the only issue that was disclosable.
I have a question for the city attorney. So as far as I know, in the closed session, this item is not agendized for you to talk about it, and then you three talk about it and make decisions, right?
No, hold on, I'm not going to answer it. Let the city attorney answer it. Was it agendized to talk in the school session? I'm not going to answer that. Let the city manager and also the city attorney to answer that question.
There was a closed session item to discuss this issue related to its legal impacts upon the city. So that was a closed session discussion that was authorized.
So that's an answer.
So
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor and City Attorney. So when we, I guess the requirement last council meeting is to have 3 to put on the agenda. So what we did is me and Namquan put the grant pass to ask you guys for discussion, and you guys vote no on it, right? And then why would you guys go closed session, 3 of you guys talk about it, which you guys know what.
You should have
That's
been there.
that violation there.
Didn't act, and that's
Yeah.
what's going on.
You
should have been there.
Please explain.
There's obviously a motive behind it.
Should have showed up.
City, I didn't put it, I didn't have to agendize this item, and I don't believe that you're through. So, city attorney and city manager, go ahead and answer that question, please.
I don't want to go into too much detail on this because of, the reason it was on closed session was for very specific reasons. So, what I would say is that I raised the issue that this is something we should be discussing in closed session, and that's why it was added, and I spoke to the city manager about it. It's something that needs to be added.
All right, thank you very much. So at this time,
Can I have a question with the city manager or city clerk? So when I read the closed session agenda, right, I don't see this
on the agenda of closed section. So it's not disclosed to the public properly.
So, no, so when it's listed as anticipated litigation, it's not disclosed what the item is about. But as Christian had stated earlier in his comments, that the council majority did vote in closed session tonight to disclose what the topic is about, which is why it's being disclosed.
You know, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the closed session August 28th at 4 p.m. It says right here in your agenda item, conference with legal counsel pursuant of Government Code Section 54956.9, potential litigation number case number 1, evaluation of the letter from Vice Mayor Ho, attorneys received on August 14, 2024. So that's potential litigation on the 28th, but then in this agenda for tonight, September 11th, it says conference and legal counsel anticipate litigation pursuant code 54956.9, number of case 1, but it didn't list what it did in this one. So no one knows, the public didn't know what you guys are discussing about closed session versus last council meeting is evaluating the letter from Vice Mayor Ho, attorneys received on August 14, 2024. This has nothing, no one knows what you guys are talking about. I thought you guys were supposed to disclose it on here.
Yeah.
Why do you guys double standard right here?
Absolutely. I can answer that. Okay, go ahead. So, under the Brown Act, there's very limited reasons that you could meet in closed session. They're very specific subjects. Litigation is one of those. Under the litigation exception, there are different ways to list it, depending on the situation. So if you have active litigation that's already been filed and all the parties know what case is being, it's in court, it's public knowledge. You have to list what the case is. So we'll list it, Westminster versus whoever it is on the agenda with the case number. In this particular case, under section D2, when the parties or the people at issue who could potentially create a litigation problem for the city are aware of the issue, then we have a duty to disclose that on the agenda. So in the case of Councilwoman Ho, she had publicly said that she had a letter, she had provided the letter, she was aware that the council was going to meet, so we had to list that. So the public knows, okay, they're meeting about the letter that she publicly talked about. And the same thing was true with the county termination letter. That was also listed on there. But many other times when the parties at issue are not aware of the issue, then we don't list it because the public shouldn't know, because we wouldn't want to disclose to the people who potentially might sue the city that we're talking about something in order to avoid or minimize litigation.
City Attorney, I agree with you because you say the Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, under the section of Vice Mayor Ho, attorney received a potential litigation right there. Under this one, September 11th, it says the same thing, City Attorney. I agree with you. To the Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, you're supposed to release that information. You did not. Both are D2, City Attorney. And you just stated that if it's under D2, you should show that evidence.
No, sometimes, in most cases you don't. It's only in situations where that applies and it's known. So
and you did say that potential litigation, who's suing us for Grant Pass, and plus Grant Pass has a lawsuit number. If you guys are going to talk about Grant Pass. So you can't deny that, City Attorney.
I don't think we should go any further into the discussion on.
All right.
We could agenda.
But you know what the problem I'm concerned is why we as a council members didn't get any message or any alert that these GAL 3 are making decisions behind our back.
Show up!
Show up for the
Sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, show up.
I thought code of conduct, no shut up or anything like that.
Show up.
Show up.
English.
Please, that's why I stopped, okay? Please, let me handle the meeting, please. So, I guess that we have gone through enough, and also the city attorney answered the questions that you guys are concerned about, to the point that he said that he doesn't feel comfortable to continue with this item. So at this time here, I would like to ask to move forward. We have the motion on the floor.
You know what, just for the record, I just want to say that these three council members, Chi Chun Nguyen, Carlos Manzo, and Kimberly Ho, has violated the Brown Act.
That's all right. You can say whatever you want to say, but if you were at the closed session, then you should understand why we are doing what we're doing right now. So at this time here,
And plus, there's no transparency, Mr. Mayor. It's under
it's always,
D2.
if you were at the meeting, then
No,
you should
there's no
know about it.
transparency. Because last time you listed that and you listed the other
I
one as
didn't list
well.
anything. I didn't
That's
list
the
anything.
attorney did. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the attorney.
So at this time here, I'd like to call for questions. You say a second to call for questions on this item, not to discuss about this item.
Well, the things that I
We have
asked.
a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, then we don't need to call for a question, right? Okay.
No, you
So,
just take the vote.
okay, we can go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion made by Mayor
A
Wu.
substitute motion.
Okay, all right. Okay, what
So
is second?
substitute motion, like I mentioned earlier, it is important for the public to hear what the Grant Pass legally law for the council as well to protect us on here, and what our law enforcement, what legally that they should continue to do. Since the Supreme Court, I think it's important for us as a council here, the law enforcement and the public to know what is the legal way that we can do regarding dealing with homelessness. We don't want to break any law. We don't want to have any lawsuit to the city. So please, I think it's important for the public and for the council and law enforcement to know. And so my motion, substitute motion, is for us to discuss on that.
Yeah, you know what? Clearly,
Okay, is there a second to that?
yeah, I am going to second here. As-
Okay, so we have a second. Go ahead.
Clearly that this is the very important issue for us to openly discuss because it's very important to this going to be involved into the homelessness issue also. So we should have, discussed about it. There's nothing to hide.
Yeah, transparency.
There is nothing to hide. Why didn't the attorney already said it may involve with the lawsuit and the legal issues? That's the reason why we have to make decision as we not to discuss about it. That if you were both in the meeting, you can voice your opinion.
There you go.
We have the substitute motion on the floor, and go ahead and call.
No, we are
Please,
still,
go ahead and call.
Mr. Mayor.
Can we
Voting.
Yeah, the thing is that we're talking about this, Mr. Mayor.
You want, you requested, you
And the
requested.
thing is that on this
She has
agenda,
5 minutes to
on,
talk about
on
it.
this agenda, Mr. Mayor, it seems like things aren't lining up. The closed session last council under section 54956.92 allowed to list it. The same thing for under recalling
Per
the
Councilman
case of
Councilman
listing.
West, will you please let me finish?
I thought.
Per Councilmember Nguyen, I will allow to have another 5 minutes, although we have the second motion and motion originally. But let's finish with the 5 minutes, and we are no longer discuss about this item. Okay?
Vote.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just feel like what has been, if you look back, I have proof, I've been screenshotting everything. The last closed agenda item, you listed the potential litigation under section D2. This too, for this closed session tonight, under D2 for both, which is the D2 and D3 for the other one, you list what it is about. And I think some of the comment from the public before, I think Roger wanted us to have transparency in this area to list what we're going to be discussing about in the closed session, but it doesn't have to discuss it right in detail. Just list it, that's all, what we are talking about. And that's what you guys been doing, city attorney and city manager. You guys been doing that. But then with this, you guys don't list it under D2. It's just, I'm confused. I just feel like there's something not lining up. There's no, you guys are not consistent in transparency under D2. So I'm just asking, you know, that we have time to make sure we list that because the public have asked for that transparency aspect.
I believe the
And I think it's
city attorney
important.
will answer that question, so I don't know that you have any other questions.
I'm not asking a question. I'm still having my turn. Thank you.
It's not your turn, it's a 5 minutes discussion, so.
I know, we're taking my time, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
If you take your time.
It's
Take
not
my time,
5
we're
minutes
still
discussion.
talking. It's 3 minutes.
Let me tell you, hold on. This is not, I said that 5 minutes, the whole council is discussing about it. We are not applying the other rules, because if we applying the other rules, we apply it from the beginning already. So at this time here, with this 5 minutes here, we all discussed about it, and we will end this right there. Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor, I still have my time. May I?
It's not your time that I per se, I said it already.
Mr. Mayor, I have 3:23. May I redeem my time?
No, this is the time for the whole council. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
That allow council member to have
We
5
have-
minutes talking.
At this time here,
5 minutes, I'm
Right.
still.
And then you break the rule again.
go ahead and finish the
You can
5 minutes.
talk.
Mr. Mayor, may I redeem my time?
No,
May I
it
finish
is
my time?
the 5 minutes for the whole council. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish this for 5 minutes, and then we will vote on it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so on June 2024, the U.S. Supreme Court issued an opinion in the case of City Grant, Cass, Oregon versus Johnson, case number 23-175. That's what you guys should put on, to be honest with you, in transparency for closed session, so we know, and the public know. For this decision, the City Council asked staff to provide a brief presentation on the court ruling. That's all we're asking, is that there's a presentation presented to the public, for the council here, and for the police department. The City Attorney Office is prepared to make a presentation to provide an overview of the decision. The City Attorney Office is prepared to provide that. That's all we're asking to discuss today. It will also include a decision about potential future concerns with the enforcement and anti-camping ordinance. What's wrong with that? I think the public deserves to know, the council deserves to know, the law enforcement deserves to know. I think that's reasonable. I'm not asking anything more than that. And also, the City Attorney's Office already prepared to present tonight. Give a presentation, I think it's 5 minutes. So, Mr. Mayor, if you let the City Attorney present 5 minutes from his office, I think that's all we're asking, and I think the public deserves to know that. May the Attorney's Office.
Attorney,
Do we have
I think this.
Okay, I believe that we have a council endorsement, representative right here. So we should allow you to talk.
Yeah, he said you already have.
If you don't have anything behind to hide, okay? Why don't you talk and present? Unless we have something to hide.
Then why we have the motion? At this time, I would like to ask the City Attorney. We have the substitute motion on the floor, and we have the original motion. Is that okay for us to go ahead and proceed with the roll call vote?
Well,
We have spent enough time
time to talk on this. If we can't, then we can move on with the call for questions. Which one do you prefer?
City Attorney, you have the presentation that you can present 5 minutes for us to know, since it's on the agenda item. Do you have that?
This is at the council's discretion whether or not they want a presentation or not. We would be prepared if they want this.
Okay, so council, I'm asking the council and mayor again. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Ho, and Mr. Carlos, can we have the 5-minute presentation for the public to know, for us to know?
Okay, so you asked that
Yeah,
with a substitute motion already, so let's vote on that substitute motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'm asking.
That's what you're asking for, and it is in the motion. So why don't we go through?
Can my time stop running?
No.
Ashton,
Go ahead,
I
go
still
ahead,
have
call for
time.
motion, please.
Well, the secretary, I still have my time.
No, I told you that the last, okay, that's okay. Right now, I told you already, that's fine, that's for the whole council. I ask you, we have the motion on the floor, let's call for the vote.
Let her finish the talking.
Mr. Mayor, I have 48 seconds. May I finish? Mr. Mayor, may I finish? I have 48 seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So city attorney already said that he has a presentation, 5 minutes to present to the public on the Supreme Court ruling on the homelessness. So we as council can be diligent in doing our job, knowing what is the law, and then also law enforcement. I think that is a reasonable request. So I'm asking the mayor and vice mayor and Monso, Mr. Monso, please let the public know what the law is so we can know and be equipped for the city. We want to save the city money, so please. I don't think there's anything you guys need to hide, so let the public know.
I think there's a lot of things that need to hide. They are hiding.
I don't
That's
think
why.
there should be anything, so. So let's ask the public, do you guys want to hear the presentation?
No, that's, the public cannot decide for the city council.
So please, one, say yes if you want to hear it,
Please, at this time here, we are conducting hearings, and we don't want anything from, even the council asked that question, and the council is simply being asking that question. I am running the meeting, not the council. Please, over to the
Mr. Mayor.
Ma'am, at this time here.
And my substitute motion?
I thought you already substitute motion, but you understand, you are the one who asked for it. If you want to modify it, modify, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so my modified motion is, since the council majority here does not want us to hear it, I modify it, so that way you can send that clip, at least to the council and department heads, so we can know.
No, you know what, let me ask it, let me propose this. We are going to allow the council here to talk about it. Sure. You want to make that motion, yeah, the council.
The council, the public?
Yeah.
Well, of course, the public want, they just say yes, but the majority on the council here do not want
You
the
make the
attorney.
motion.
But I substitute motion because I want to respect the mayor, I want to respect the public, and please, we get that information from the attorney's office because that's what he's paid to do, to protect us. And if the majority of the council do not want to hear that legal presentation, then we have no other way. I feel like we have to ask for that slideshow, that presentation sent to the council and department heads so we can listen in our own time and present it on press conference or something. So if it's not
We have a
reasonable.
motion right now, and the sole issue is addressing whether or not the motion, or the substitute motion, should be approved. So that's what's being discussed right now. We've already had quite a bit of discussion on it. I would simply ask if Councilmember Nguyen had anything to add, and then after that, take your vote unless some other council member has a comment.
Do you agree to modify your motion to add Gary
Gary attorney, Gary, can you stand up, please?
Who's Gary?
Gary.
Oh, you're the attorney to
Yes,
present.
Gary.
Yes. So
okay.
our attorney is right here in his office. He's ready to present. Yes, I want him to present
The
to us.
city is paying for him.
Yes,
to be
paid
here.
for him.
Okay? So
Guys,
that is paid.
it's on the agenda. We'll pay for him.
So what are you afraid of? The three of you. What are you afraid of? It's transparency.
Yes, I make the motion to have Gary, who we pay with the city's money, the public, the people's tax dollars. We already paid him to be here.
Right.
So
Let
please.
me remind the Councilmember Nguyen, hold on. Let me remind the Councilmember Nguyen and Councilmember West. We already have the motion on the floor, and you want to make a substitute motion, and now you want to amend the substitute motion. You are not going to make a substitute, you are not going to make a motion. Motion already on the floor.
I already,
So you want to amend
I did.
Go ahead.
I think you
I
can
just
take a
amend,
motion
Mr.
and
Mayor.
have discussion if that's what your question.
Go ahead and amend your motion.
Okay, so my amend motion is to have Gary, who we pay the taxpayers' money, he's here to present the 5-minute presentation legally regarding the grant pass for us to know as a council, also department head and law enforcement and the public to know. So I think that's my substitute motion. Mr. Nguyen?
Is there a second? Okay. All right, so we have a motion, substitute motion amended, and the second on the floor. Go ahead and vote on that.
Thank you, Mayor. I have an
Hold on.
I have a quick question as far as procedure. The question is whether we discuss or not discuss. What's the reason for a substitute? The original question is to discuss or not discuss 5.3. Is that not correct?
Correct.
So why do we need a substitute motion to do the same thing?
Who are you asking?
City attorney.
It's their motion.
No, I'm asking.
I don't make the motion.
No, I know, I'm asking you, isn't that the same thing, or the original motion?
That's right.
To discuss or not discuss?
Every time you make a motion, there's a motion on the table.
That's not,
That is.
Okay, that's-
on the table.
I understand that's the motion.
So do you want to change,
He's
Mr.
asking
Monzo, you
your
want to
question,
change your
right?
decision? I think the public would love to know.
All right, just
Would you want to know about the homeless
answer
legal law
why you
for us?
guys, doesn't want Gary attorney to talk about it. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already paid it.
Money,
You guys,
Mr.
it's
Monzo.
very difficult to.
So you have anything to hide?
Talk it, only one person.
I believe that we are ready to proceed with
Mr. Monzo, you want to change your vote?
Just look at
the
it.
motion.
Gary's here.
Let's go ahead and do that, please.
Okay, and it was substitute motion which was amended by Councilman Fan West, seconded by Councilman Wing. This is to move forward with agenda item 5.3 to hear the staff presentation
With Gary
with Gary Krinker.
presenting it, yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll call roll for the substitute motion. Councilman Fan West.
You know, before you do it, I don't think you shared my motion. Yeah, do it correctly, please, city clerk. My substitute motion was to have Gary, that's paid by the taxpayers' money today, to do the 5-minute presentation. That is the correct substitute motion. Please do it, add it correctly. Thank you.
And may I remind you that the presentation is going to be sent to the whole
Yeah, to
council.
send to the whole council and department head. That is my substitute motion. Please. Thank you, Ashton.
Okay, so I have an amended substitute motion made by Councilman Fan West, seconded by Councilmember Wing, to have Gary Krinker, being paid by taxpayer money, to provide the 5-minute presentation, and for the city attorney's office to send the presentation to the entire city council and department heads.
Yes, thank you, Ashton.
Councilman Fan West,
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to say something because it seems like I keep getting cut off. That is the original item, is to have Gary do the presentation.
That's right.
He was gonna do it from the get-go, so why are we making two motions on something that was already gonna happen?
No, Mr. Mayor wants to remove it. You don't want to talk about it.
We always do that.
Mr. Walter, you didn't listen to this motion. Mr. Mayor, no, Mr.
Obviously, you guys
No,
don't.
Mr. Mayor,
My vote is yes.
No, no, no.
Mr. Mayor motion to not talk about
We already voted. Next.
Councilmember Wing?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill?
Okay, go ahead, ask your vote.
Okay, you know what? If you don't mind, I would like to speak without any interruption. If you don't mind, you know what? I think there's just total lack of decorum. And this is like an absolute circus. And I have to bear this, and please, if you guys are listening, if you guys are watching at home, I am so sorry, but let me just say this. May I speak without interruption?
Turn on the clock.
I don't mind, I'm going to take less than 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes, like everybody else.
No,
Turn it on. Shut up, Naquan. Yeah.
Come on, please. Okay, please.
First of all, I'd like to say that when you come on the council, as new as you are, you need to learn. Because what the city attorney is telling you, he is not lying. It's just part of the process. It is part of the process. He is not lying. So, you know, if you don't learn it, you're just twisting his words and you're trying to, just because things you don't understand, you say that people lie. That is wrong. And number two is that you should have been at the closed session every time.
You guys are hiding something.
You know what? You were, as part of your responsibility, you should have been there every time. And so today, you assume that this is a session that's going to talk about some other matters.
Today, we go together, the three of you.
I like to ask you, I need you to be in order first. Okay, as a council, you have to be an example for it. Please, you are not recognized this time. Councilmember West, you are not recognized this time. Let's continue with Councilmember Ho. Please.
Turn the mics off.
No, this time we are not going to turn on the clock anymore. We are already proceed. We are proceed with the votes already. So there is no.
Thank you. We spent over an hour to speak on this item in closed session. Unfortunately, you chose not to come. This is the reason why you are so confused. And then you come out here, you waste everybody's time. And then you accuse people of fighting, you accuse of this and that. That's childish game. And so this is the reason why we urge you to please come and attend. That's your responsibility as a council member. And now, the reason why we cannot come out here and speak on the subject is because in closed session, we already voted, and if I may just say that we will not have it disclosed out here. And that is because we want to protect our city. And that is the reason. It is not because we want to hide from you. Why would we hide from you? You were invited to the closed session meeting, that was your prerogative. I'm not here to judge you, but I'm telling you, it is your prerogative to come or not to come. It is your constituents who have to look at you and judge you. So I just want to tell you that this is the whole reason why it is such a circus. So please come next time. I beg you. You owe it to your constituents to attend. Please.
Allow her to talk. Hold on.
Yes.
You allow her to talk. I demand for her to talk. Councilmember Ward. Let me. Hold on. let me finish.
Mayor, our time.
President, I'm Vice Mayor. Let me go ahead and finish. This time here, I would like to ask all council members, when you try to silence me, stay. No, I'm trying to answer you right now. I am trying to answer you. Before we take the vote, we have the chance to discuss about it. And when it comes to their turn to vote, they can have a brief comment, just like you. Okay, so when it comes to Councilmember Menzo, we have the right to talk about it before he asks for the vote. Same thing for Vice Mayor, he can do the same. Why didn't you take the chance to do it at the time that you vote? I wouldn't stop you. Okay, at this time here, I am not silencing you. I am following the rules that we have to conduct the meeting. This is the Robert's rules. And so, at this time here, what is your vote if you want to vote?
City Clerk, what am I voting on? Could you repeat? Please go ahead.
So it is a substitute motion to allow Gary Kringer, being paid by taxpayer money, to provide the presentation and for the city attorney's office to send the presentation to the entire city council and department heads.
Okay. I believe that what we said in closed session to protect our city should not be repeated here, but making use of our city attorney, not city attorney, Mr. Gary.
What to do?
Please sit down. I like to call for 5 minutes recess. Please, at this time, I would like to call for 5 minutes recess. All council members are going inside.
Where you come from? What the hell are you doing? Man, why you touch my camera? That's not right. That's not right. You want to achieve that way?
Maybe she got up and sat on the dais for a
And you want to talk, you raise your hand up. You cannot avoid passion when you talk to a woman.
The city
Why don't you have a shut up?
$1 million to the attorney fee every year.
What money you have?
Taxpayers' money, okay? And the thing is that they are paying us every 2 weeks. The taxpayer money that's more important for the attorney is what we need to heal. And that's the reason why we want. Just coming Saturday? Yeah, that's what we're with that. Do you guys understand? This is your response. Do you guys understand? That's why I'm fighting for your legal right. The attorney is to protect us in our city. I'm in the legal to protect us. And we should know the rights. I will always defend your tax dollars. Look, we're paying in the millions for an attorney. Why wouldn't you guys want to hear him? We already paid him to be here. When you guys are paying us, like what? It doesn't matter. You couldn't even drive gas around town, okay? So the thing is that that's the issue. The issue is I want to protect the taxpayer money. I'm so stupid. No, it's okay. I'm here, listen, I work here. So the thing is.
I know why you're smiling. Because you're not married. That's why you're smiling.
We, the taxpayers' money, we pay them in the million. We pay them in the million taxpayer money every year for the attorney legal fee. And that is more important. The people deserve to hear the truth. 5 presentation on the legal aspect of the Grant House taking care of the homeless to make sure the council is not liable, the police department is not liable, and the public should know the truth. What's wrong with that? Why would the majority would not let us hear it? And then plus when they put on the agenda items under D2, you have to disclose like how they disclose under D2 when you put that, it goes to housing, but under that, they didn't put the closed session for the deciding number of the case of Grant Pass versus. We don't want to debate because we don't have the information. We want the attorneys to speak 5 minutes. But because the majority council, the mayor, does not want it, because of the common dictator, they make the decision of wasting our tax dollars. Right there, they just waste our tax dollars in a million. And are the public okay with that? I'm trying to save us money here. And if this is a legal aspect, we should all know. Protect ourselves. So we pay for it and then we want to know. Because in the closed session item is posted under D2 in my book. You have to disclose potential litigation. What potential litigation do we have regarding Grant Pass? There's no potential litigation. So the way how they put it is deceiving the public to know the truth. What closed session they're doing. Because if they did disclose that, then you know it's Grant Pass violation. They're talking about what we brought up last week to talk about Grant Pass. Well, but they keep doing it. Remember how it is? Because that's why the attorney said it was very close to the Grant Pass violation. But when they go to back and they're going to money on Grant Pass, and they become this closed session item, that is wrong. That's not transparency. You're hiding something that is unacceptable. And I'm not going to be able to no, they're in the back. They're in a closed session in the back. I guess they're waiting, right? 5 minutes. That is because in the office, the attorneys. So under the Attorney Jones, they have a lot of attorneys. And this guy is doing that Grant Pass. Okay, so look at Scott Spitzer. She knows that it's important, but not making that law again, enforce it again. Because every law is so That was listed on the closed session, so you know exactly what we're talking about. That was under section K2. This may be allowed. I'm hiding something. This is under potential litigation. What potential litigation would you have after you get the law? Yes. And that is not transparent. That's not transparent. I will expose that. We have to be transparent. It's not transparent. So that's why I said, do that in this item. They're not being consistent. So, city attorney, I appreciate, yes, I appreciate that you want the meeting to let us know that Mr. Green.
He's actually the president.
5 minutes recess. I'd like to restart the meeting. I would like to restart the meeting, please. If media, would you please, I restart the meeting, so if you want to continue to talk, can you discuss it outside of the council chamber, please? Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Wing,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Ho,
I'm here.
Councilwoman Van West,
Van West here.
Councilmember Monzo,
Here.
Councilmember Wing,
I'm here.
Mayor, you have a quorum of
All
all members
right,
present.
we are in the middle of the voting process, so go ahead and continue your vote, Vice Mayor. This is for substitute motions.
No.
Mayor Wing,
No.
Mayor, I need to reconsider my vote. I said based on my legal counselors, based on legal counsel, safe from litigation, I reconsider my vote is no. We had extensive, detailed reporting from both our city attorneys during closed session, so that's why.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Bill, it is substitute motion failed 2-3.
Okay, now we are going to vote on the original
The
motion.
original motion on the floor was made by Mayor Wing, second by Councilmember Monzo to remove agenda item 5.3 from the agenda. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Van West.
Okay, before I vote, I want to let you guys know the closed session that they discussed, which is a violation of Brown Act, and they disclosed it by they did not disclose the title, what they're talking about. That is wrong in and of itself, okay? There's going to be a lot of attorney lawsuits and how they draft things that hide something. And number two, the attorney that we pay, he's not going to go in detail when you guys talk about that you violated the Brown Act. So the thing is that they're going to talk about just general presentation to the public. That's his job. So Monzo, Mr. Monzo, don't accuse that the city attorney does not know how to present to protect us, okay? He's not going to expose all the detail, okay? He's going to present enough for us to protect ourselves. So Mr. Monzo, that is your violation of Brown Act. That will be reported for FPPC.
All
So the thing is that FPPC will be filed. You guys filed this closed session, and it's not correct, okay? And you guys are hiding it when you'll find the section D2. So it's very important that you guys remember to be transparent and consistent, okay? To the public, because they deserve it. And number two, when the council here, majority, decided not to allow the attorney to do a presentation, a basic presentation on the Grant Pass lawsuit, the Supreme Court. That in and of itself shows us that there's something you guys are hiding, and you guys have the majority of power, and you guys do not care what's best of interest. And plus, we pay in the million to our attorney every year. You know that, and that's public record. I can show you guys the proof. Okay, so we pay them in the million of the people's tax dollars. So the people deserve to know, just to protect ourselves, so the council can know how to protect ourselves, and the law enforcement know how to protect themselves from lawsuit, from homelessness. Okay, so why are you guys not letting? So number one, I see that the power. Okay, you guys have the power. You guys are appeasement. Number two, there's something you guys are hiding. And the reason
I think
is
you are reviewing it, so will you please cast your vote?
Yes, I'm going to cast my vote, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you. So my vote is no, because I want transparency.
All right.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Wing.
I'm going to speak before I cast my vote. I'm going to respond to Kimberly Hall about accusing us of twisting words. Okay? Twisting words.
Yes, you did say that.
Twisting words.
Shut your mouth.
Please.
Mr. Mayor, this is your meeting. She said, shut your mouth.
Come on, please.
Don't say shut your mouth. No, Mr. Mayor, it's your meeting.
This is not here.
Don't point finger. It's your meeting. You say anything for
recognized at this time. The person who recognized to speak right now is Councilmember Nguyen. Go ahead.
But you have to keep order when I say.
I will.
Order.
If she is not talking, then there's not the responding. So go ahead, and you are recognized to speak right now. So please, everyone else.
Okay, about distant words, you three are the worst of distant words. Okay, just for now, I'm telling you this. And so he just twisted his word by, reversing his word for. And that's not what I said. You do this all the time. Okay? So people see that. Alright. So you very often, you guys are very often, threaten to fire city attorney. And I know that there going to be a day that you guys want to,